Hi, I'm your host, First Man, and hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Rant Show. I am your host, Adam, aka First Man, aka the Rant Meister, aka Mr. Rant, and this is the Rant Show. Alright, this time around, I wanted to switch it up once again and talk about what happened at this past WrestleMania for all you wrestling fans out there, what happened at Raw, and just what's happening with wrestling in general. This past WrestleMania, all in all, I think, it was a alright pay-per-view. Not their best, but certainly not their worst. One or two things I think should have happened, or I wish would have happened, and then of course I'm going to rant about, is first off, the match with Shield, and Sheamus, Randy Orton, and The Big Show. In my opinion, Shield should have lost. Because, I just think they should have. I understand that WWE is still trying to put, Big Show off as a heel. And honestly, if they wanted to do that, after the match was over, he just could have gave his finisher to all of them and just walked out of the ring. Still put him over as a heel, but they still would have won the match. Personal opinion. The Undertaker and CM Punk match was actually pretty happy with. Same with John Cena and The Rock match. The Triple H and Brock Lesnar match was happy with because I wanted Triple H to win, but it was just a little slow, I guess you could say. Took them a while to get around the ring, which I know certain wrestlers are getting up there in age, so they can't move around as fast as they used to. But still okay match, but moved way too slow for my taste. And then there's also the thing that's happened, Dolph Ziggler now becoming a champion. Alright, I know this is just my opinion here, but Dolph Ziggler, sorry dude, you are not a big enough name or a big enough heel, in my opinion, to deserve a championship. That championship. If they wanted to give you a title, throw the Intercontinental belt your way or something like that. But there's 100 other people out there that could have gotten the championship if they still wanted a heel champion. My opinion, dude, did not deserve it. And then there's also, I'll say while I'm at it, the Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger match was alright with that, I guess. All in all, I guess you could say WrestleMania was alright, except for, the Triple H match moving too slow. The Shield, I think, should have lost, and then I believe this happened on Raw. Dolph Ziggler getting the championship. Which, speaking of which, it probably would be a good idea to, make it less predictable. But my suggestion, and I think should have happened with Dolph Ziggler, have someone lose the Money in the Bank. Like them cash it in, but then lose. And not, cash it in and, they win. Or, if you don't want to go that route, cash it in for an actual match, not wait till someone's beat up, say hurry up, cash it in, pin them for 1, 2, 3, and then, they win. Actually have, cash it in, but have an actual match. Just, food for thought. Once again, wasn't too happy with Dolph Ziggler becoming a champion, and really should have thought, especially with him, that he'd be the one to lose the Money in the Bank briefcase. By the way, his bodyguard, whatever his name is, Not exactly sure how they're gonna pull him over once he's no longer with Dolph Ziggler. Just saying. What else? Oh yeah. I mentioned briefly that there's probably 100 other people that could have or deserve more the championship belt instead of Dolph Ziggler. You know, just food for thought. A few people that do deserve it, in my opinion. Rey Mysterio, which I know a lot of you are probably shaking your head at this point. Well, that guy's been in and out so much. He doesn't deserve it, in my opinion. Sorry, I think he does. He's busted his butt for the WWE for years. I think he deserves to have the championship at least one more time and hold on to it for more than a month. Or Undertaker or Kane, believe it or not. But even if, granted, Kane did get the championship belt, hell no, should still stick together because, I'm sorry, they're a freaking hilarious tag team. And they're awesome. What else? I think, for the most part, I've talked about what I want about with that. Now, for all you fans that are fans of another wrestling organization called Chikara. Sorry. They have a champion over there, their own champion over there, named Eddie Kingston. Now, the guy's an alright wrestler, I'll give him that. Moves pretty fast around the ring. Just not so sure about his finisher. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, I think it's called, it's pretty much a back fist. I forget the exact what he calls it, but it's pretty much he just swings his arm around and hits you with his fist. Not the most impressive thing in the world. So, yeah, just not that impressive. But the reason why I wanted to actually bring him up is because I forget how long he's held the belt now. But last time I watched his title shot thing where someone got a title shot and he still won. First thing that crossed my mind, I'm praying to God he is not a Jeff Jarrett. For those of you who are fans of TNA, you know what I'm talking about. A while ago, when Jeff Jarrett was still wrestling for TNA, he held the championship belt for, I don't know, I actually think it was more than a year. Like, he held it on for a long time, to the point where the fans were getting sick of it, to the point where everyone was getting sick of it. And I am just praying to God that is not what happens with Eddie Kingston. I'm sorry, bro, but there's 100 other people out there that deserve the title in Chikara 2 besides you. So eventually, I'm praying. Sorry, once again, I had to take a little breather. Alright. Like I said, in my opinion, there's 100 other people out there in Chikara that I think deserve the title besides Eddie Kingston. Just once again, food for thought. Soldier Ant would be one. Ultraman Black would be one. 100 other guys out there at Chikara that can hold the title too. I am just praying to God that Kingston does not turn out to be a Jeff Jarrett. Plain and simple. Alright, I also wanted to briefly talk about TNA. All in all, I think what they're doing is pretty good. I like where they're going with things. Except for one tiny little thing. And that's with Aces and Eights. Love the idea of Aces and Eights, like where they're going with it, except for one thing. I'm sorry, Bully Ray, but me personally, I think they should have picked someone else to be the president of Aces and Eights. Because you personally, being the president of Aces and Eights, to me, does not make a whole lot of sense. If they honestly wanted to still put you over as a heel, could have done that doing something else. In my opinion, once again, does not make a lot of sense putting you as the president of Aces and Eights. I believe you. I think he deserved the title. I'm happy he got it. And it's, like I said, if they wanted him to still be a heel, they could have done it. But really don't think he should have been the president of Aces and Eights. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Just food for thought once again. If they honestly wanted to stick someone as the president of Aces and Eights, that would have made sense. Could have gone with Jeff Jarrett, because he could have gone on the whole rant about how how Sting got a ring and not him, but he's been in TNA longer and has been with TNA longer, and he's formed this group to take over TNA. Would have made more sense that way. Well, I know we probably wouldn't been going the little NWO route with that, but still would have made more sense. Still would have made a good storyline. Another thing that I think TNA should really be doing right now is trying to push their women's division and X division. I personally think that they should hire like 1 or 2 more wrestlers, women wrestlers. One, so that their women's tag team championship belts, if they even still have them, they could actually push it somewhat. They should probably try and make some story dealing with those belts, and just try to push the Knockouts Championship belt a little more too. While you're at it. I also think that they should be pushing the X Division, period. Their last Destination X pay-per-view, it looked like they were honestly fading away from the X Division. And that whole pay-per-view is about the X Division. I honestly think they should really, really push the X Division more, or at least try to. Especially, and also, like I said, with the Knockouts too. Also, this here is just my personal opinion, but I really think they should hire back the Pope. I know there's some rumors going around about why he left and all that, but me personally, I think they should hire him back. Personally, I liked him, thought he was an awesome wrestler. Just really think they should bring him back, and though I personally don't think he'd be a good championship title holder for the X Division, I think he'd do phenomenal, and maybe eventually throw the belt his way if he's ever hired him back. But I think he should hire him back. Once again, I just said this was my opinion. So, yeah, my opinion. Besides that, like I said, I like everything that TNA is doing right now. Just, guys, if somehow you watch this video, please, please, please take my advice. While we're on the subject of bringing people back to, WWE and you guys, I don't know why Vince broke them up in the first place. They were getting a lot of pop. A lot of people were liking them. Why did you just break up Crime Time? I know when they first left it was because, of something that happened backstage, and I get that, but after Vince brought them back, he should have kept them together. They were getting a lot of pop. When they first came back, people were chanting, "Welcome back." They wanted Crime Time back. But now he's having broke up, and I don't think either of them are even with the WWE anymore, or you don't see them that much anyway. Honestly, you should be trying to push your tag team championship belts a little more, and I honestly think you should be bringing back Crime Time, because a lot of people like them, and get them on the whole gimmick of, like taking people's stuff during matches and selling it to the crowd, because that was a genius idea. The fans loved it. I loved it. It was just phenomenal. So please bring back Crime Time. Alright. I wanted to bring up one more wrestling organization before I ended the show tonight. And that would be a little wrestling organization that's kind of weird, called Big Battle Kaiju. Probably a lot of you have no idea what I'm talking about. My suggestion, go on YouTube or some other video search website, and type it in and just watch some of the matches. Because I'm just telling you this now. It'd be a perfect, thing to watch if you are on acid, drinking, and snorting a lot of crack. Trust me, I'm not going to say anything besides that. You're going to have to watch the videos yourself. But once you do, you'll know what I'm talking about. Alright. I believe there's nothing else I wanted to touch on. I believe covered what I wanted to. So, guys, TNA, Chikara, and WWE, please, if any of you watch this video, take my advice. I am your host, First Man, aka the Rantmeister, aka Mr. Rant, aka Adam. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Rant Show. Much love. Peace.